Welcome to this short screencast on the XModelerML version 3. The XModelerML is a multi-level modeling tool, and in version 3 we particularly implemented support for a seamless integration of two-level and multi-level modeling modes, which I'm going to show you with two example scenarios. Now what you currently see is the diagram editor of the XModelerML with an empty canvas. On the left we see a couple of elements which we can add to this canvas. Some of those are domain specific. They are specified elsewhere and we cannot access the complete specification from here. If, for instance, I click on this private customer here and I click on the canvas, I will create an instance of the class which I cannot see. I'll see that some values are missing, date of birth is required, it leads to some errors here. And if I add a date of birth, then we will see that the error messages appear and an age is calculated. Now I have added further instances which overall represent a rental car operator or rental car company, which is, we see that a private customer signs a rental agreement which includes a particular car. It also includes an invoice and needs to be picked up and dropped off at a particular branch. Now currently we have the 11th of July and this rental period here is set to start tomorrow. So this rental status is coming. And the car is also available, is currently not rented. But if I change the rental period to an earlier date, for example July 7th, we see that a couple of values change now because it is now currently rented, the car is also unavailable, the rental duration has increased and also the complete rental price has increased. All of this is done automatically. I, as a regular domain user, do not need to worry about the underlying specification. We can also see that the XModelerML evaluates constraints at runtime, saying here, well, payment is overdue because the due date is set to July 6th, but we still have not received the required amount. If I now enter the required amount, so for instance saying that, well, the 611 euros, they have been received, then the error message will also disappear. Underneath, what we now see is the multi-level meta model, which may have been specified by some language engineering expert. This model includes many multi-level modeling features. For example, we can see that we have a class which is at level 3, which has instances at level 2 and level 1. We have attributes which are instantiated at level 2 and level 1. We can also see that now here all of these different operations are actually specified. By double clicking on any of them, then I can see the code and I can change it also with the constraints. And I can also see that on the left I have way more classes which I can add. And also if I would look at the editor in detail, I would see that there are many more options in this editor than in the previous one. Now if I close this view again, and by the way, this is something the language engineer could change this meta model anytime and the changes would be synchronized to all of the example models. If I change this diagram editor, we now see the control center of the XModelerML where we can manage our different models and the diagrams contained in the model. Now I want to show you a second example. In this example, we have two regular UML classes, which may be part of a larger model. And they've been maybe developed as a first initial draft. But after having created those classes, I noticed that, well, maybe it may make sense to actually add a further instantiation level. In order to add a further instantiation level, I have now switched to the multi-level modeling view, allowing me to create a meta class, which I call luggage, which is on level 2. Now as a second step, I need to migrate those objects to not be instances of meta class anymore, but be instances of luggage. I can do this by right-clicking on the class and then say change of and select luggage. By now right-clicking on the luggage class and selecting merge properties, I am shown a window which shows me all of those different properties which are currently available. I have now resolved all conflicts, said that some attributes need to be promoted. After clicking OK, we can see that the effect took place. After having added this classification, I can now add further multi-level modeling features like, for example, this attribute which is instantiated at level 1.